All I know I couldn't stop.
Normally when we cook, we listen to music, and we can't do that because many reasons, because of cutting and copyright infringement. This is Brigley. You saw him in the last video. And thanks for joining us for cooking with us. Yes, us, or however you say hello in Greek. We are going to make a grape leaf casserole today. And if you guys don't know this yet, my husband is Greek, and a lot of Middle Eastern cultures actually stuff grape leaves. Okay, Mom, don't complain. I know this is not a casserole pot, but it works the same way for what we need it to do. I'm not going to count each grape leaf. I'm going to say you probably need about half of this size jar, which is 10 ounces. We're using Bertolli olive oil, and I'm not even going to the fact that olive oil isn't really olive oil. The recipe calls for 1 large onion, but we usually use 2 medium size. Well, it's a vegetarian recipe, so it calls for 1 cup of brown rice. But we use a half a cup because we're going to add beef to it. We use instant rice because I like instant rice and it's faster. And then it calls for 2 cups of low sodium tomato sauce, which we will use all of that. 1 cup chopped parsley, and it calls for a cup of dried currants or raisins. We're going to use raisins because that's what Theron grew up with and that's what he likes, so raisins. Lemon juice, you're going to need some lemon juice. These grape leaves have been preserved and they're in salt and stuff, so the first thing I want to do is dip them in boiling water for 2 minutes. I don't know about you, but for me, if something's going to be in boiling water for 2 minutes, it's not really dipping. It's you put it in, you wait 2 minutes, you take it out. So we're going to do that now. If you think about it, it's kind of awesome to use grape leaves. First of all, they are extremely tasty, probably healthy in some way. But also, I mean, wine's awesome, and you're using another part of the plant, so it's not going to waste. I'm a neophyte. I don't know much about grape leaves, so I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So it takes longer, but...
Brigley's sleeping in a Brigley sack.
I'm not sleeping.
He was.
So now we're taking some of the grape leaves out, the first set, just to rinse off. Once you've drained and rinsed your grape leaves, you set them aside, and you worry about everything else. Hopefully you've started to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, because that's where we're going to need to be at for the baking segment, which will take 30 to 40 more minutes. We need 1 cup of parsley, so I love you. The first thing you do once you've cut up your onion, we actually had pretty large onions, so I used 1.5. You use olive oil. And we're going to put it in a large skillet. However much, whatever. Is that normal?
That's plenty.
We're going to put the onion into the olive oil. And we're going to let it cook until it's brown. Theron loves onions. The next thing you normally do would be to add 2.5 cups of water. No, 1/2 cup of rice.
What's that for?
This is a lot of beef. It's way more than we probably need. It's 93% lean. And we're going to put it in there with the rice and everything else, and it's going to cook for quite some time, 30 to 40 minutes. We've sauteed the onions, we've added the rice, water, and beef, and we're supposed to bring it to a boil. And once it boils, we reduce it and cover it with a lid or a saucepan, because that's what we have. Once your mixture begins to look like this, i.e. there's not so much water left, you can remove it from the heat, and you're going to add in the rest of your ingredients. You'll need 2 cups of tomato juice. Perfect.
Smells good.
Then you add in the parsley. 1 cup of chopped parsley. 1 cup of raisins, yeah. In French it's raisin sec, because raisin is their word for grape, so what it means is dry grape. But once it soaks up all this goodness, it becomes like fat with the flavors of the food that you're cooking. That's what makes it really amazing and tasty. Obviously, you mix this evenly together. It's no longer cooking, it's just the heat that's coming off its residual.
It's quite a bit, actually.
Okay, now we're ready to make our casserole, finally. And what we do is we layer the bottom with some olive oil. You're going to get it all over the bottom and the sides, because The leaves are going to go all over the sides and eventually top this dish because it's going to go in multiple layers. So the bottom, you start layering with grape leaves. Once you've got your tomato juice and everything together in your wok or pan, if you have a big pan, you add as much pepper and salt as you want.
We're putting in the first layer of the insides of the casserole. Smells really good.
Now you layer in your second and last bit of the meat mixture, and you cover it with grape leaves. Well, this is basically how it should look when it's done. It says to, brush olive oil on top of it. And we've done it in the little oven, and we've done it in the large oven. And every time, we've ended up with the grape leaves on top being really charred. Everything else is great, but I don't really like the crunchiness at the top. So, wouldn't you think olive oil makes something crunchier? Because it makes it cook faster, right? No? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit, where's our pan? Just a little bit. And we'll see what happens. It's a test. So now we're going to cook it for about 30 minutes. At 350, which is already preheated too. Here's our casserole. It doesn't look as burnt as normal. Oh, that's much better than putting the olive oil on top. It's cutting like for reals. Do you have something between a casserole and just a sludge pot of food? That's yummy-licious, so. It's gonna be a very different casserole than anything you've ever had, trust me. And we've made this is the third time we've ever made it, so it's not like we've made it a ton of times, but I'll get my husband over here to taste it. And we'll see what the expert says. Since he's Greek.
I'm the expert.
You're the expert.
It smells delicious.
It's less sweet than normal. I feel like normally it's super sweet, and you love getting a bite of the grape leaves because that just gives you that savory, sour.
It's good, but we used too much lemon, so we're gonna do it again.
Still good and still healthy.
Oh, we gotta do it again.
Oh, I'm dressed cute and everything.
It was so good the first time.
This is me have been cooking with us.
Too much lemon.
Bradley wants to know what kind of food you want to see featured on our next podcast.